Hey everybody, this is Grimes, and I'm very excited to be here kicking off my brand new 6-month residency for BBC Radio 1. In this month's show, I'm excited to be playing you some of my favorite music, and the theme is Sci-Fi Baby, or weird science fiction and electronic music for babies. Alright, so let's get into the first track, which is The Gate by Caroline Polachek. Hey, this is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes. That was a song that seems difficult to pronounce called I/Y by Lane 8 and Yato. I don't really know how to say any of this stuff because I only have ever seen it written down. Okay, so today's theme is music for babies, specifically science fiction music for babies, because I really think babies need more exposure to electronic and experimental music. And obviously that's the kind of music I make and the kind of music I love. So coming up next is a song by the producer Lily Palmer, who I think is super sick. The song is called Listen to Me. Now this song might be a little hard for some babies, but some babies might really like it. This is definitely a bit of a hard song though, so I guess, just see how your baby feels, and if they don't like techno, then don't play them this song. Cool, sweet. Lily Palmer, Listen to Me. Hey everybody, so that was Rachel's song by Vangelis from the Blade Runner soundtrack, which in my opinion is the greatest soundtrack ever made, and Vangelis makes incredible music for babies. Because it's very calming, but it's also very futuristic and avant-garde. So yeah, thank you so much, Vangelis. And now we're going to play the song Stardew by Purity Ring, who are an incredible Canadian band. And yeah, I think this song is super baby-friendly compared to most, and also super sci-fi. And that was Such Great Heights by the Postal Service. Yeah, you're listening to Radio 1's Residency with Grimes. Let me know what you make of this month's selections by tweeting us or at BBCR1 and use the hashtag R1Residency. This next song is Dreamer's Wake by Rival Consoles. Sweet, that was Dreamer's Wake by Rival Consoles, and this is Grimes, and I am playing you science fiction music for babies because I think babies need more exposure to experimental music and futuristic music. So I just finished my album, Misanthropocene, and yeah, this next song I'm gonna play is one of my favorite songs from the album. It's called So Heavy I Fell Through the Earth, and I produced it myself, and it was mixed by Ilangelo, who's one of my favorite mixing engineers and producers, and he does a lot of stuff with The Weeknd, so he's really good at that heavy ethereal thing. I mostly made this in my bedroom and using the Rolly C board, which is one of my favorite instruments. Alright, this is So Heavy I Fell Through the Earth by Grimes. You're listening to the sounds of Grimes. I've just joined a roster of 8 incredible DJs and producers who take it in turns to get in the mix, especially for you, every Sunday night, from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., here on BBC Radio 1. You can hear us curate an hour of music each and every month. Alongside the other residents, Techie Latex, who's up next, Eric Drew and Octo Octa, Caribou, and the returning residents Sherelle, Special Request, Dennis Solta, and Sersha. You can download and listen to all of our mixes on the BBC Sounds app anytime you like. They're available for 30 whole days after broadcast. Right now, I have more music for you. Fingerbib by Aphex Twin. That was Fingerbib by Aphex Twin. You're listening to Grimes here on BBC One's Residency. I've got a bunch more music for you, specifically for babies, music for sci-fi babies. Coming up next is a very meditative piece called Time by the Pachanga Boys. You're listening to the Radio 1 Residency with me, Grimes. I'm supposed to say what I'm doing for the next month, which is probably mostly weeping because I'm hella pregnant and it sucks. But actually, I'm going to put on an art show in LA, so if you end up being in LA, please come to my art show. And yeah, we're coming to the end of the show. I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as I have. This last one is We'll Meet Again by Vera Lynn. Next week, Dennis Salta and Sirsha take control of Radio 1's Residency. You can find a full list of all the tracks I've played on the Residency page on the Radio 1 website and listen back on the BBC Sounds app. Alright, so yeah, this last song is We'll Meet Again by Vera Lynn. Hey everybody, it's Grimes on BBC Radio 1. I'm back for my second Residency show. So today, for the next hour, I'll be bringing you a bunch of my favorite stuff. The KLF, Kim.com, Lana Del Rey. The theme for this show is time. One of my best friends just had a baby, Time Elizabeth Wallach. Welcome to Earth. That was Childish Gambino with Ariana Grande. And coming up next is a song called Relativistic Time Dilation by Traversable Wormhole, the Kevin Gorman remix. This is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes. So, I'm in quarantine, and I'm super pregnant, which is pretty crazy, and I hope stuff is slightly less crazy by the time I am attending the hospital. But if not, I accept my fate, and yeah, I just really hope everybody's okay, and hopefully I can cheer you up today with some music. The theme today is time. That was a really old song of mine called Vowels Equal Space and Time, and coming up next is Doin' Time, a Sublime cover by Lana Del Rey. Yeah, God bless, Godspeed. Here's Lana. You're listening to Radio 1's Residency with me, Grimes. Get in touch with me by tweeting at BBCR1 and let me know what you think of the music. Sweet, that was the KLF. You're listening to Grimes on Radio 1. I am part of a new lineup of presenters and DJs on Radio 1's Residency. You can hear me once a month alongside the likes of Techie, Latex, Caribou, Octo Octa, and Eris Drew. Make sure you download the BBC Sounds app if you haven't already and listen at any time you like. And coming up next is, oh my god, Good Life by Kim.com. If you don't know who Kim.com is, he's that guy who like made the Pirate Bay or something, or no, Mega Upload. And then obviously that was extremely illegal, and then he had to like flee the country, and then I think he was hiding out in New Zealand for a while, and then they like caught him and put him in prison. And you know, it's this whole saga, and he's like this extremely entertaining but kind of scary guy. Anyway, it turns out he makes music, so this is one of his tracks, and honestly it's like it's rather absurd, but it's pretty great. Hope you enjoy. This is Kim.com. What's up? That was Kim.com. Yeah, if you miss any of the track titles or artists that I'm playing tonight, head to the Radio 1 website, search for my name, Grimes, and you'll find a full list there. Cool. Ha ha ha. Gotcha. That was Harry Styles, Sign of the Times. I guess maybe you guys, maybe he's popular in Europe, so maybe you know who Harry Styles is. I don't know. They told me to only play experimental music or something. But the theme of this show, of this episode, is time. So, I don't know, I think that song's actually really good. I actually love Harry Styles. He rules. Cool. So, this is Grimes. You're listening to my BBC One Residency. Tweet BBCR1 to get in touch with me and let me know what you make of the music. And make sure you download the BBC Sounds app if you haven't already so that you can listen at any time you like. We are all deep in the quarantine, so I hope everybody's surviving. Personally, I'm pretty low on food, so I've just been eating like peanut butter, and like cereal. Actually, I love cereal and I love peanut butter, so what am I really complaining about? We're all very lucky, and life is beautiful, and yeah, coming up next, closing time. We're coming to the end of the show, folks. So yeah, thanks for spending this time with me. You can find a full list of all the tracks I've played on the Residency page on the Radio 1 website, and listen back on the BBC Sounds app. We're gonna close the show today with Only Time by Enya. Perhaps the UK's greatest export. God bless Enya, and I hope everyone is doing okay. I know it's a crazy time, but we are here to entertain you, and I hope we're doing that. And if not, please forgive me. I tried my hardest. Bless everybody, and may the sun rise again tomorrow. This is Grimes. Catch you later.
Hey, stop. Hey guys, it's Grimes on BBC Radio 1, and I'm back for another installment of my residency show. For the next hour, I'll be bringing you tracks that I think would be fun to listen to during surgery. So if anyone is having surgery anytime soon, you'll probably enjoy this playlist. So the first track was Claire de Lune by Iseo Tomita. That's a great cover. And coming up next, we have some Vangelis.
Hey everybody, this is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes.
Since the last show, I've been going mad in a tower, and for that reason, I've created a playlist that can be enjoyed during surgery, either necessary surgery or experimental surgery. Coming up next is Prom by SZA. You're listening to Radio 1's Residency with me, Grimes. Get in touch with me by tweeting at BBCR1 and let me know what you think of the music. You're listening to Grimes on Radio 1. I'm one of 8 DJs on Radio 1's Residency. You can hear me once a month alongside the likes of Techie Latex, Caribou, Octo Octa, and Eris Drew. Make sure you download the BBC Sounds app if you haven't already and listen anytime you like. This is music for surgery because they let you play music in surgery now. So if anyone has surgery this month, I think you'll love this playlist. And coming up next is Carl by M83. That was Am I Dreaming by Azuel, formerly known as Yukari. If you've missed any of the track titles or artists that I'm playing tonight, head to the Radio 1 website, search my name, Grimes, and you'll find a full list there. Hey, it's Grimes, and you're listening to BBC Radio 1. We're living in strange times, but hopefully this music is helping you get through. One thing I've noticed that is really helpful is if you have a pet, it's good to just give them a massage. I know that sounds really weird, but I recently started massaging my dog because my dog seems to have like minor arthritis, and it really makes him really happy. And in turn, this makes me happy. So yeah, if you're depressed in the quarantine, why don't you try massaging your dog? Anyway, this is Grimes, and you're listening to BBC Radio 1. Next up is Roxanne by Arizona Zervas, and I'm probably saying that wrong.
Hey everybody, this is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes.
Hey guys, we're coming to the end of the show. Thanks for spending this time with me, and you can find a full list of all the tracks I've played on the Residency page on the Radio 1 website and listen back on the BBC Sounds app. This is Grimes, and these are songs for surgery. And yeah, that was Purity Ring. And coming up next is one of my favorite songs called Komodachi. Very relaxing. Cool. I hope everybody is having a good day. Ciao.
Hey y'all, it's Grimes back again on BBC Radio 1 for my residency. The theme of today's show is post-surgical awareness, since I just had surgery and frankly it was terrible. So yeah, please attempt to remain healthy and avoid surgery at all costs. So today I plan on tormenting the post-surgical, including myself, with some of my favorite dance music. I do find that when you listen to dance music, you feel better. However, it is extremely important to refrain from moving after surgery. So ultimately, this is a mental test of the highest order. Will you succeed, or will you injure yourself further? The first track was Tribe Called Red with a song called Sisters featuring Northern Voice. Coming up next is Born of Ashes by Ancient Methods. This is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes. That was In the Flowers by Animal Collective. Since the last show, I had a baby, and I'm feeling kind of down physically, just hard to walk and stuff. So today I'm playing a bunch of music
that revives me and wakes me up. I'm actually in the middle of the woods in Florida recording this in a bathroom on my iPhone because this is the most private location I can find right now. So please excuse the low rumble of the AC and whatnot, but I am not permitted to turn it off. So yeah. Up next is another old but amazing song, which is Underground Stream by Arab Music. Hey y'all, you're listening to Radio 1's Residency with me, Grimes. That last tune was Dangerous, the Oliver remix, and I think the original song is by Big Data or Big Data. I'm having an internal debate about how to say data, whatever. Coming up next is Original Sin by Hybrid. Hey everybody, it's Grimes on BBC Radio 1. I'm one of 8 DJs on Radio 1's Residency, showcasing all corners of electronic music. That was Night Owl by Boris Brejcha, which is an amazing song at any time of the day. And coming up next, we have Boy With Love featuring Halsey by BTS, because I always think K-pop is a little relevant. So get in touch with me by tweeting at BBCR1 and let me know what you think of the music. Hello, good people of Britain. We're getting into the last song of the month, which is Cartwheel by Frankie Rosado. And yes, I think this is just a jolly tune to end the show with. And I've been dared to finish this final drop in a British accent. So, yes, feel free to tweet at BBCR1 and tell me if my accent is on par. And yes, don't forget you can find a full list of all the tracks I've played and listen back to the show on the BBC Sounds app. This last song again is Cartwheel by Frankie Rosado. Catch you next month.
Hey everybody, it's Grimes on BBC Radio 1. This is my penultimate show. So yeah, for that reason today, I am just going to play stuff I've really been loving recently. And honestly, I think it is my best show because instead of trying to abide by a theme, I'm just playing my favorite stuff. So yeah, this first song is called July on Film, and it's just by some girl called Zoe, who only has one song and seems very mysterious. And the song is like 2 years old. And like my friend just randomly found it on Spotify. And it's just sort of like a good song. It's very relaxing. And yeah, for some reason I just find the song very emotionally evocative, and this artist seems super indie, so you should check her out. Hey, this is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes. So yeah, I'm trying to start off with some kind of lesser known artists today. First track was by Zoe. Second track was by my friend Nicole Dollenganger. So it's my second last show, and it's been really amazing having a show on BBC Radio 1 and being able to play you guys some weird stuff that I love. So coming up next is more mainstream. It's the song Dolerme by Rosalia. And after that is a song called Lonely in Tokyo by an artist called Mireille. And again, this is just like a random kind of, I think, independent artist I just sort of stumbled across in my YouTube excursions. So I hope you like it. You're listening to Grimes on Radio 1. I'm one of 8 DJs on Radio 1's Residency who explore the full spectrum of electronic music. We each have an hour a month to curate a mix for you. You can check out shows by my fellow resident Caribou, Octo Octa, Eris Drew, and more on the BBC Sounds app. This next song is by Young Sad Yori, and I randomly found this on TikTok, so here's some TikTok music. That was a song called Cry, featuring me by my friend Ashniko. She rules, and I believe she is from Britain, so there you go. Coming up next is a song called Pure by Hey Violet. If you miss any of the track titles or artists that I'm playing tonight, head to the Radio 1 website, search for my name, Grimes, and you'll find a full list there. That was Nova by Yoto, and coming up next is the Roses Imenbeck remix, which is another song from TikTok, which I just find sociologically interesting, so yeah. Hey, it's Grimes. Let me know where you're listening to the show from by tweeting at BBCR1. Let us know what you think of the music, too. Next up is the We Appreciate Power remix by my friend Blood Pop.
and the original song is a Grimes song featuring Hana. We're coming to the end of the show, so yeah, thanks for joining me this month. You can find a full list of all the tracks I've played on the Residency page on the Radio 1 website. And listen back on the BBC Sounds app. That last song was After Hours by The Weeknd, and coming up next, we've got Conception 1 by Plastic Man, aka Richie Houghton, who's a good friend of mine. And yeah, this is like some of his really early music. I think this was released in 1994. So just ending on some minimal techno for good energy. And yeah, catch you next month for my final show. Hope everyone's having a good life.
Hey everybody, it's Grimes on BBC Radio 1. And yeah, this is my final residency show. Tonight I'll be closing Radio 1's Weekend of Dance Music with a bunch of my favorite music. And the theme of this week's show is The End. That first track was Labyrinth by Mondo Grosso featuring Kari Mitsushima. And I would highly recommend checking out the music video for that because it's one of my favorite music videos. This next track is Love Theme by Vangelis from the Blade Runner soundtrack, the greatest soundtrack of all time. Oh my god, that sounds crazy. What else? Do you want to say something to everybody at the BBC? Very, very good. Very good, little X. This is BBC Radio 1, and you're listening to The Residency with me, Grimes. That was Midnight City by Perla Blue, and coming up next is Basically by Teishi, who is actually a friend of mine and is super talented. And yeah, again, today's theme is The End, because this is the end of my residency at the BBC. You're listening to Radio 1's Residency with me, Grimes. Get in touch with me by tweeting at BBCR1 and let me know what you think of the music. Now that is a masterpiece.
You're listening to Grimes on Radio 1. My microphone seems broken, so I am switching to my deepfake voice. This is a voice that was created for me using samples of my speech. Anyway, I've been hosting this show since March, and it's nearly time for it to come to an end. A new lineup of residency DJs will launch in September, so keep your ear to the ground for that. In the meantime, you can check out shows by my fellow residents such as Caribou, Octo Octa, Eris Drew, and Paul Wolford on the BBC Sounds app. More music for you now. This one is Handmade Heaven by Marina. Hey, this is a deepfake of Grimes' voice hosting on BBC Radio 1. These are all songs that make me feel nostalgic. Nostalgia is sort of sad and happy at the same time, and the theme of this show is the end. The end is always sad and happy. I love electronic music so much. It's the ability to sculpt sound with the most precision. This is a deepfake of Grimes here on the BBC. We're coming to the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining me these last 6 months. Let me know if you've enjoyed the music by tweeting me at BBCR1 and searching my name on Twitter and Instagram too. You can also tell me if you've hated the show, but I would prefer kindness. You can find a full list of all the tracks I've played on the Residency page, on the Radio 1 website, and listen back on the BBC Sounds app. That last song was Chris Lake, one of the greatest producers alive. I'm so sad to be leaving you all, and therefore the theme of this show is the end. Last but not least is one of my favorite songs from the Blade Runner soundtrack called Tears in the Rain. If I can leave you with any piece of information to aid you in the future, may it be that the Blade Runner soundtrack is the best soundtrack ever.
Fire.